How's it, guys? Welcome back to SoccerBeat. It's myself, Mike Morton, with Tsepo Masilela. We are doing a trending show here, talking about everything that happened on the weekend, but predominantly my friend's team here, Kaizer Chiefs, a massive, massive upset against Mamelodi Sundowns. When I looked at some of the betting odds on the weekend, I think I saw 12-1 odds, something like that, on Chiefs to win on some betting sites. Betway, I think, was around 10, 12-1. Crazy. And make sure if you are going to be betting, you're betting on Betway, use the SoccerBeat code to get your extra 25 Rand bet. Tips. I mean, you went to the stadium. Tell me about the vibe. It was a sellout. Big weekend for Kaizer Chiefs and for Nasreddin Nabi.
Mikey, massive, massive, massive results for Kaizer Chiefs and Nabi to be in the final, but also, the build-up, going to the stadium, driving, you could, you want to put yourself in a fan or supporter of Kaizer Chiefs, you could feel that, their fear is there. Yes, anything can happen, but you could sense that their fear is there. But shout out to the Kaizer Chiefs fans that came out in numbers, regardless of the past results. Because it's tough, when you play the team already 3 times and you haven't won, the belief, to show up, to spend your last money in this game, it's very tough knowing that we might get a hammering again. But shout out to the fans, the Kaizer Chiefs fans that came out in numbers. And yeah, man, the vibe was electrifying, Mikey. It was a nice sold out Sunday, 6 p.m. kickoff, and to see the Zapatas and the number, it was amazing, Mikey.
Yeah, but I mean, Chiefs really took the fight to them. I mean, that first half, they were very, very aggressive. You can tell that Nabi sort of would have said to them before the game, let's get amongst it. Let's make it difficult for them. Let's get some tackles in. Let's show the Chiefs fans that we care and that we want to get to a cup final, because you could see the intensity and the intention from Chiefs from the beginning to disturb and make it very difficult for Sundowns to play. They were very, very aggressive.
Yeah, definitely, Mike. When going back to the game itself, you Chiefs had a plan. Going into this game, and I wouldn't say they played their best game, but there's many ways to win a football game, and I also like the fight. The spirit of the guys, the desire of the players. Getting into challenge, and again, maybe you don't want to let the Sundowns team to get into rhythm. Start going and start dominating because they're playing at home again. The fans will get behind them. But I also like the desire and the fight from the Chiefs. It was like, listen, guys, not today. When you go into those games, when you say, like, whatever happens, guys, but not today. Today we have to come up with the results from this game,
Yeah. And a massive reaction, because obviously we all know as footballers, when the opposition scores just before halftime, especially a goal like that, it's almost like you can't even do anything about it. Incredible free kick from Tebza. You go into halftime and you're devastated, and it's really, really hard to pick yourselves up. For them to come out and react that way and obviously get the early goal, how important was that and how big was that? And what do you think Nabi would have been saying to them at halftime to get them to come out and react like that straight after the break?
No, Mikey, when Solomon's made that tackle, I feared for the for the worst, because I checked the time. It was more like the last action of the, and he makes lunges in that tackle. It's a foul. I'm like, this is when they speak about critical phases, this is a critical phase of the game, and yeah, to concede like that, and after putting the shift for almost the whole first half, but also their reaction, it shows that the guys, they had the belief that, listen, guys, we can still pull something out, and because I was sitting in the grandstands when I saw Duba scoring that goal and running, getting the ball from the net and running back to the center line, it was a message, it said something to me. These guys are really prepared, today to fight, and they wanted more. Like, when they wanted it more, Mike. Because normally when you score an equalizer in such a big game against Sundowns, you run crazy, you forget everything, you run to your fans, you want to celebrate, But young Duba just went, got the ball from the net, ran back to the center line, and we were like, guys, come on, we need a second goal. That was also a massive statement.
Yeah, and then talking about that second goal, I don't know what it was like at the stadium, but I mean, there wasn't a lot of protest from the Sundowns players at the time. But obviously, looking back now and looking at the still images after the game, we see clearly it was an offside for De Prea's goal. I mean, Kaizer Chiefs will be happy, but I mean, was there anything in the crowd where you felt like that decision was that there could have been an offside there?
To be honest, Mike, there was no like real protest from the crowd at that moment because it happened fast. It was a set piece. Actually, when they won the second ball, they played given. I thought it was offside for a second, from where I was sitting. And then they played it back. They played, I think it was George who crossed the ball, and he hit it with pace. So, like, everything happened so fast and quick, like, and the fans, they don't get the opportunity of watching it on the screen or wherever. Maybe some, had their phones on. But and then, like for me, where I was sitting by the street, there was a TV inside. So after the goal, I walked inside to check because also I actually thought Given was offside. So I went back and when I checked it on the TV, in the slow motion replay, I was like, that's a tight one. That's a tight one. But again, in South Africa, because the angles, with this VAR thing, when you see it in Europe and you see how the pictures are presented and the angles and the lines, so it's still tough for us in South Africa because even till today on social media, you get images that say they draw their own line. No, it's onside. No, it's onside. You end up being confused, Mikey. But no,
And
man,
then you're also relying on the groundsman because then you're thinking, no, I'm just going to use the line of the grass. But then if the groundsman cuts it a little bit skew, you also don't know, like.
exactly. But I think it was a slightly offside, but it was a tight one, man. We give benefit to the attacking team, right? Like that's what I say.
The defenders, I don't know how we'll feel about that, Tips. But look, I mean, Chiefs got it over the line. So it's for neutral supporters, I think it's fantastic. Obviously, we get another Soweto Derby final. I mean, it's been a very long time since we've had this situation. What was the vibe in the stadium and just in and around? Obviously, talking about Nabi, there's been a lot of negative sentiments of late, obviously, with the league results and whatnot. How did you feel after the game? How are people talking about Nabi now? Do you think a cup final or a cup lifting a trophy at the end of the season, does this save the project? Would this bring back the faith from the Amakosi fans?
How would you like to win a little something extra just for joining the best in the game? For a limited time, we are teaming up with Betway and giving all of you access to a SoccerBeat exclusive. If you join Betway using the sign-up code SoccerBeat now, you'll get 25 Rand extra bet. That's right. It's time to get way more out of every bet. Standard T's and C's apply.
Mikey, the vibe at the stadium when all this happened, it was a moment where everyone forgot about their whole season, how it's been. You know those moments where you win and nothing matters, but again, when all the emotions are down, when you look at the project again, you have to say it hasn't gone that well, Mikey. And especially if you're gonna drop points to teams that are fighting relegation, left, right, and center. Almost everyone down there, got points from Kaizer Chiefs. Then you start, when on a sober mind again, But at the stadium when it happened, no one cared about we are on the top eight, we in the top eight. It was a beautiful moment, and to see the players celebrate with the fans. Sometimes people they criticize and say, you celebrate like you won the Nedbank Cup, like you won the final. They can criticize, but again, they've been through a lot. It's been a tough season for everyone involved, for the players, for the fans, for Coach Nabi, for the management. You saw the sporting director, you saw Bobby, you saw Jessica. Everyone was in the pitch, like singing with the fans, hugging the players. It's because they've been through so much, this season. I know they haven't won the trophy yet, but sometimes there's moments where you just forget all your problems and you just want to celebrate with your fans. I felt it was one of those, and you know what? In football, things happen fast. It's over. It's done now. They have to regroup. Refocus. They still have league games to play, and a final is coming. On the 10th of May. So I'm sure by now everyone has cooled down. And it's
Yeah.
back to business. But it was
Obviously
nice,
now with
man. It
that
was nice.
result, yeah, with that result and getting to the final, it's guaranteed them basically. I think there's some mathematical issues where you can't guarantee that fact, but they basically have qualified for the CAF Confed for next season. So if I had to say to you now, Nabi lifts the Nedbank Cup and they finish in the same league position as they are now, would you classify this season as a success for Nabi if they win the Nedbank Cup?
Definitely, if they win the Nedbank Cup, it's a success, Mike. If you haven't won the trophy in 10 years now, and you win a trophy, any coach that comes and win a trophy for Kaizer Chiefs would say it's a success, mate. The drought has been too long, and when you win the trophy and you miss out on the top eight again, it's another. It gives a different feeling, but let Nabi win the trophy. Let's see how it goes. And if he wins the trophy, Mikey I'm sure the fans will forgive him if he finishes out of the top eight. Because okay, there will be a chance missed to compete for a trophy beginning of the season, but now we've qualified, for CAF. So
Yeah,
I'm
and CAF
sure the
Confed
fans.
is
I'm
not
sure the
like it
fans.
used to be. A lot of teams actually didn't previously. When we used to play, people didn't really want to qualify for the Confed because it used to cost the club a lot of money. There wasn't a lot of prize money. It wasn't worth all the trips to Congo and to whatnot. Now the Confed with Patrice in charge of CAF, there's a lot of prize money to be made now in these competitions. So qualifying for Confed has become a massive thing now. So I think there's a box tick there for Nabi. And just to look at, there's a stat that I saw yesterday that Nabi in his last 5 seasons has qualified for 5 domestic finals now. So he did 3 times in Tanzania back to back. Then he did the Moroccan League as well, got to the final, and now in the Nedbank as well. So look, the project is, he might have failed a couple subjects here, but he's passing a couple subjects as well. So you can say that if they win the Nedbank Cup, even just qualifying for the CAF now, there is a little bit of success there. And like we always say, South African football needs a successful Kaizer Chiefs. And we just look at it, when you feel this on a Monday, you look at social media, the joy and everything from Kaizer Chiefs getting through, and now to have a Soweto derby in the final. And they could be catching Orlando Pirates at the perfect time, because when I look at Orlando Pirates fixtures building up to that Nedbank final, they play Pyramids twice in the Champions League, back to back, week to week. Then they play Magesi on the 30th of April. Then they play Chiefs again in the league on the 3rd of May. And then on the 10th of May, they play the final. So Pirates can't afford, because obviously they're chasing the league, they're chasing the CAF Champions League. They can't afford to rest anybody. Nabi, even for that league game, obviously the MTN 8 and qualifying in the top 8 is important, and a derby win momentum-wise, but he can be smart around that game that he plays on the 3rd of May, whereas Jose Rivera can't afford to rest anybody. So part of me thinks that he could have a little slight advantage just in terms of fresh legs, a little bit of Pirates are going to have a lot of focus shifting from competition to competition. They could be catching Pirates at a very good time.
Yeah, looking at the schedule and the teams, the trophies that they're chasing, Orlando Pirates, it's gonna be tough on them. And again, there's suspensions, there's injuries. As you said, they can't afford to rest any players. And on the other side, Chiefs, they can play smart, building to the finals. Making sure they have their best, players available for the finals. So in a way, it favors Kaizer Chiefs, but we'll have to wait and see.
Guys, that's all from us, Tips. Guys, make sure we're on the road to 50,000 subscribers. So make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit the bell notification so that you get a notification every single time SoccerBeat drops a video. And if you're joining up and signing up with Betway, use the SoccerBeat code for extra 25 Rand bet. Tips, thanks so much. We will see you guys. There's no midweek football this week, so join us on SoccerBeat. We'll be breaking down a couple of different topics, and then there's big football again this weekend. And we'll see you guys on the flip side.
Thank you, Mikey. Cheers.
Cheers, guys.